Stanford just released the biggest study ever done on AI hiring tools. And it's uncovering this massive web that's answering the question all of us are asking. Why does my resume keep getting rejected for jobs that I am completely qualified for? And I'm going to be honest, this study has changed the way I think about every application I've ever sent. 90% of companies are using AI to screen applicants before a human ever sees them. And the interesting thing is that most of these companies are using the same few vendors to do that work, meaning it's the exact same tool, just used in different companies. And it's probably everywhere that you have been applying. Here's how it actually works. You apply to a job, and then the company sends your resume to a third-party AI tool. And that AI platform gives you a score, and then it sends that score back to the employer. But that score doesn't disappear or get regenerated with every application you send. Sometimes it holds on to that score for 330 days.
What?
So when you apply to another company that uses that same platform, you're not getting a fresh start. You're just getting that same score again. And the research is real. They tracked over 4 million applications across 156 employers. And when they found that the people who had applied to multiple companies who were using the same AI tool to screen, the rejection rate was a little too high to be coincidental. So they're calling it systemic rejection. The study is called Algorithmic Monocultures in Hiring, if you want to check it out. But just know that if you've been sending applications out and hearing nothing back, it's probably not your resume. And this is just another reminder that we're not living in some glitch. It's effectively one score for 330 days for every company that you're applying to. And this is why laws like the ones Colorado is passing right now are going to be imperative to the future of job applications and hiring. I'm going to continue to report on this, so follow, like, comment if you want to know more about the systems that are actively working against you in your job search. And feel free to share this with anyone else who's being actively gaslit by AI on a daily basis.
Listen, man, that AI machine is no joke, and the way corporations are using it, it's kind of scary because, you know, I've experienced it to where I applied for a job, might have been late at night, maybe like 1 o'clock in the morning, and got an email from the company 20 minutes later saying after careful consideration. What? Come on now. Yeah, it's sad, but you know, we've been knowing this. You know, it's odd that this is how it's going, but you know, you just kind of have to figure out how to adapt, honestly.
Class action lawsuit has been filed against Workday, the HR software company behind most applicant tracking systems. And this class action lawsuit claims that Workday's AI-powered applicant tracking system discriminates on the basis of race, age, ability, and other key factors. Some of the biggest companies in the world, like Target, Netflix, the Bank of America, are all powered by Workday systems. If the court finds that the algorithms are in fact biased, this is going to change the way we use AI in recruiting. I have a lot of opinions about how AI biases the hiring process, but in an effort not to get sued myself, I'm going to save that for another video.
Yeah, I mean, I think what a lot of people forget is that you get to program these systems. You get to tell it what you want. You get to tell it how much what you want. Like, you can be very, 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 very detailed and prompt these systems to find what you're actually looking for. And essentially, you can program it to be discriminative. That's just what it is. You can do that. So you can program something to have racial bias. You can program something to be gender bias. You can program it. And I know a lot of times people don't think of it that deep, but it is that deep. It's that deep. So, gotta be mindful.
If you have 100,000 people applying to a job, let's be honest, I don't think there's any human who's going to get through those 100,000 applications. I don't think there's any humans. And I wouldn't be shocked if there were like a bunch of humans who were skipping through this before, because they were just like, it's like auditions in a way. At some point, the person's tired.
Yeah,
you know,
totally.
you want to get them when they're fresh. You want to get them when they're in the mood. Like, does the AI make it better then?
You know, I wish I could tell you that.
So we don't know.
We don't know. I've asked many companies to let me come in as a researcher and like sort of look at like, here's your traditional way of hiring, here's your AI hiring, and have this like run at both times, and then sort of double check, like, you know, the people that the AI said that would be high performers, did they actually turn out to be high performers? And I have not seen a company do this or want to share this with me or with anyone.
Not.
I think it's because, I don't know, there's like a lot of turnover in HR, like these processes don't work that well. And I think what we already know, so what we know from a survey of C-suite leaders, like sort of leadership in companies of over 2,000 in Germany, the UK, and the US, when they asked them if your company uses AI tools, do they reject qualified candidates? And almost 90% of the leadership said yes. So they know that their tools reject qualified candidates. They still use it because I guess the efficiency from using AI versus humans, it's just much, much more greater.
It all comes down to the money. They don't have to pay a human to do it. You know, like my uncle taught me years ago, follow the money trail. AI is where a lot of money is going. It's saving companies a lot of money. You don't have to pay health insurance. You don't have to pay a salary. Just use the AI tool. Have somebody manage it. You know, it's unfortunate, but this is, you know, the challenges that we face, you know, being humans, and dealing with greed, dealing with corporations, should I say, and how they want to go about, you know, leaning out the company in ways to where they can give more to shareholders and give bigger bonuses to, you know, C-suite or C-level suite employees. It's always gonna go back to the money. They may, you know, say it's not, but it's about the money. You know, because, and I do agree, like, okay, what happens if you get a very competitive requisition and you get thousands of applications? How do you, you know, sort through that? I think the lady offered a great solution. You know, sort through it in terms of manpower, but also let AI sort through it and see if there's consistency in an agreement of who would be the qualified candidates, what candidates stand out the most, what candidates' resume align with the job requisition the most, and go from there. But the issue is that, especially when they pay for these systems and these processes, they're like, hey, we got to get our money out of this. You know, so AI is not $3. You know, you're gonna pay a lot of money for these programs and these systems, and you implement them, and you're like, hey, we're gonna live with it. And unfortunately, it's affecting how, you know, we get jobs. It's affecting how qualified candidates get found, and it's actually, in my opinion, it's making people have to be more resourceful in terms of networking, asking people who they run into at the gym, you know, at church, you know, in their friend groups, like, hey, what's going on at your company? Are they hiring? You know, are they doing layoffs? Are they looking for anybody in this industry? You know, I was randomly leaving my place, and ran into a young lady here, and she works for a civil engineering firm. And I was like, hey, I know a guy who just graduated from U of H with a civil engineering degree. Let me get your information. Let me see if I can make a connection. Like, it's going to take more of that, you know, because these systems are not human friendly. It doesn't have emotions. It can't see you and I. It's just looking at a piece of paper. And even then, it's like, oh, it's still getting it wrong based off, you know, how they have it programmed. But y'all let me know what y'all think in the comment section, because I know this is like a real thing and a lot of people are dealing with this. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Connect with the brand online at www.there'shopebrand.com. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, make sure you subscribe to the channel. I'll catch y'all in the next video.